Look at the world of business and management book titles, and Alan Jordan, Sales Director of BookBuzz, is with us in studio. Alan, you're very welcome this morning.
Morning, Ian.
The book you have with us looks like a bit of a cartoon this morning. What is it?
Yeah, it's called Business Model Generation. The book does actually, it's lots of graphs, lots of pictures, and what it does, it's not your typical strategy or management book, Ian. And what it's trying to do, it's designed to convey the essentials that you need to know quickly and simply in a visual format to put together a business strategy.
It looks quite simple. I mean, these look like kind of basic cartoons. Is this really a way to base your business model for a small company or a large company?
You know, it's for everything. Do you know what it reminds me of? We did a great book a couple of months ago on What's Mine is Yours, which is about collaborative consumption. And this actual book is a real output of that, because it's designed by 470 practitioners from 45 countries. And a business model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. And what this does, it does it in a real visual way. So in actual fact, how you would use it is, it can give an opportunity for all of your people in the business to understand in a visual way the big picture, their roles and responsibilities to delivering value.
Looking through some of the models in there, do they come up with anything that's actually new and exciting or something, or is this just your bog standard business school management book?
Well, see, it's not. And what it's trying to do, let's just talk a little bit about business models. I mean, when the founders of Diners Club introduced the credit card in 1950, they were practicing business model innovation. The same goes for Rank Xerox when it produced photocopier leasing and the per copy payment system in 1959. So a business model is best described through 9 building blocks that show the logic of how a company intends to make money. And what this does is it breaks it down into customer segments, the value proposition that you're going to offer to your customers, the channels to market, the customer relationships that you have, your revenue streams, the key resources and activities that are required for the business, the partnerships and your cost structure. And it does it in a way that's not dry, brings it to life. So this is incredibly practical for an SME or the large boys and girls like IBM, Deloitte and Ericsson, who are using it as a way to create new strategic alternatives, or an SME just really wants to get to understand its business model, and also for the people who work within its business to understand what it's delivering and how it's delivering value to its customers.
And you mentioned some case studies, I suppose, from the past in terms of the likes of Diners Club and Xerox, but they do have more modern examples, the likes of Skype, the likes of Zipcar as well.
They do, yeah, and I'm not going to mention Apple, because I know really how much it cheeses you off to hear Apple in every business book, and unfortunately Apple is mentioned here. But no, take Skype. So Skype brought us dirt cheap global calling rates and free Skype to Skype calls, and their innovative business model is built on so-called peer-to-peer technology, and it's now the world's largest carrier of international voice traffic. Now, we've spoken about Zipcar before, and it's really designed for city dwellers. It creates automobile ownership, but offered on an hourly or daily rate using a fee-based membership system. And again, that's collaborative consumption. It's response to emerging user needs and pressing environmental concerns. And you've come across Grameen Bank, which is really micro-lending to the poor, probably something that probably could be used for Ireland. And the other part is, I remember last week when you had the banks talking about the new interest rate increases on mortgages, and it was talking about the fact that it didn't have a sustainable operating model. So business models, a lot of your listeners would be familiar with the balanced scorecard and the EFQM model. What this is, it's similar to that, except it's probably one of the few I've seen that really makes it come alive, interesting, very good for a startup business that wants to understand how it's going to get its product out to market and why it's going to be different. And you know what it touches on? Remember we did that book with Cynthia Montgomery on The Strategist, and she asked that fundamental question is, why does your company matter? If you weren't here tomorrow, would your customers care? So it takes on that type of questioning, which we also picked up from Clayton Christensen in The Innovator's DNA, and then helps you drive through possibly changing your model and finding ways to create value for your customers.
Okay, Alan Jordan, Sales Director of BookBuzz. We'll leave it there. The book again, Business Model Generation by Alexander Osterwalder, and we'll put that title on our website later on. Alan, thank you very much for coming in. Up next, a lady